Okay, just give me a minute. Yes, can you see the screen now?
No, sir. Yeah, right now.
I can.
Hello,
Okay.
I can't see your screen. I don't know what is the problem with my link or my system. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, I could not see your screen.
Okay, just give me a minute. Krishna, can you just check?
Okay, sir. I'll call you.
Hello.
Yes. Hello.
Hello.
Yes. I could not see your screen. I don't know why. What's wrong with here? Or shall I go and?
Okay, those of you who are not able to see the screen, I think most of you are able to see now. So there should be some problem at your end. So can you just try re-log in and connect again? Okay, I hope now everybody is able to see. Okay, let's start without wasting any time. So as you know, we are here for the demo session on SAP S/4HANA Logistics. Okay, this is also like unofficially called as SAP Simple Logistics, although the official name is not SAP Simple Logistics, it is SAP S/4HANA Logistics. Now, what exactly is SAP S/4HANA Logistics? Let's try to understand that. Okay, and then we'll go to what exactly you can expect out of this course. And before talking about all about the course, let me just introduce myself. My name is Gaurav and I am working on SAP from last 12 years. Over these 12 years, I have worked on different roles. I started my career as a consultant and then I moved into the senior roles like solution architect, project manager. And from last 3 years, I am totally into SAP S/4HANA offerings, which means when SAP launched SAP Simple Finance, from that time, I'm into the offerings which are provided by SAP S/4HANA. So Simple Finance uh, 1.0, Simple Finance 1503, then SAP S/4HANA 1511, 1610. So I'm involved into all these different kind of POCs as well as implementation and migration projects. Okay, now talking about the product SAP S/4HANA Logistics. So we all know that SAP is a very good product in terms of the integration, in terms of the processes. So whatever version of SAP we are using from years, so most of us are using ECC 6.0 as of today. So we all know that it is the leader in the market if we talk about the enterprise software, right? But why SAP then came up with this new product? When everything was going fine, it was a market leader, then why SAP thought of coming up with a completely new product? The answer is that you must be knowing that the world is completely changing. Like if you go back 5 years, it was not like Internet of Things, big data, all these things were not, even the cloud computing, these things were not there. And if they were, it was at the very small stage. But now the world is growing, the data is growing. As you can see, the data is getting exposure. So not only that, Internet of Things, everybody wants to do the things from the mobiles, the tabs, rather than sitting in front of the computers and laptops. Okay, and if you talk about the cloud computing, so most of the competitors which are coming into the market, okay, they are offering the cloud-based technologies. Now, what is the benefit of cloud and all that we'll discuss in the when we go further into this. So all these things are pushing SAP to come up with something new, which can cope up with the requirements which are continuously changing from the environment. And that is the reason why SAP came up with a completely new product called as SAP S/4HANA. Now, why we are saying that SAP S/4HANA is a completely new product? It doesn't mean that the functionalities are new. It doesn't mean that the basic processes which are happening in sales and distributions, materials management, production planning, FICO, they are changed. We are not saying that at all. The functionalities, the basic functionalities, the processes are not going to be impacted. They will be able to performed as they were, but only the way in which they were performed is changed. So the processes are same, but how you execute that processes, that is something which has been changed. I'll tell you for the example, there are some topics that I'm going to talk about today, so you'll get that idea. So whatever I said till now, the product is SAP S/4HANA, okay, and why it is called as a completely new product? Because the way in which the processes will be executed, the way in which the data will be stored in the background, that has been changed. So if I talk about the functionalities, or if I talk about the features which are changed, it is the architecture. So earlier we were using traditional databases to store the data. Now SAP S/4HANA is only going to work on HANA database. Now with HANA, there are a lot of features which are coming as by default. So for example, you can reduce the number of tables, you can simplify the number of processes because of HANA database in the background. And also from the front end point of view, as I told you, the way in which you carry out the processes has been changed. So earlier, if you are using the create purchase order or ME21N to create a purchase order, now instead of that, SAP is also providing you the option to create that transactions, to use that transactions from SAP Fiori using the apps. Now that is the main reason why SAP is saying it is a completely new product, because it is not EHP 7 to EHP 8. It is not a successor of any existing version. That is the reason it is called to be a separate or a completely new product. But understand one thing, the processes, because we know the processes today also work, SAP provides a lot of functionalities for the different kind of processes, different kind of integrations. They are working very powerfully as of today also. So they don't want to touch that. They just want to simplify that, right? So now, why we are saying SAP Simple Logistics? Because like SAP ECC, when you run SAP ECC, there are different kind of domains. There are different kind of modules that we have. We have MM, we have SD, we have PP. These are from the logistics point of view. Then from finance point of view, we have FI, we have CO, we have FSCM. There are different kind of modules that we work on ECC also. Similar to that, SAP S/4HANA also offers all these modules. Okay, some of the modules will work as it is, while some of the modules are simplified. So SAP has made the simplifications in finance area and also in logistics area. Okay, so what we are going to discuss in this course, we are not going to talk anything about finance, because most of us who are available in the demo, I think most of you are from logistics background. Either you are from materials management, or you are from sales and distribution, or maybe from production planning. So these are the three areas where we are focusing in SAP S/4HANA logistics. Now what we are focusing on? We are focusing only on the delta areas. Okay, so it doesn't mean that if you are coming from MM background, okay, so it should not happen that I'm telling you how to create a purchase order, starting from scratch, how to set up the releasing strategy. Because that is something which was known to you earlier and it is not changed in SAP S/4HANA. So I'm only going to talk about the functionalities where there is a delta, where there is a difference. So earlier this functionality was working like this, now it will be working like this. That is exactly what we need to see. So we are going to talk about the deltas into materials management, the deltas into sales and distribution, and the deltas in the production planning. That is the reason we are calling this course as a SAP S/4HANA logistics. So for finance guys, you have the separate course available, which is SAP S/4HANA Finance or SAP Simple Finance. Okay, so I hope you got the idea why SAP came up with the completely new product. Now let me just go forward and highlight some of the areas where there were challenges and which are going to be solved with SAP S/4HANA. So these are just the highlighters. I'm not saying these are the only things which are improvised, but this is just some scenarios where you get the idea. Yes, this was the kind of problem that we are facing in ECC and how this has been solved in SAP S4. So as I told you, as I started, if I talk about the current SAP product, it is also the market leader in terms of ERP, but still there are some areas where the improvisations are required, improvements are required, right? Which are those areas? So I think most of you must be agreeing that the reporting part in SAP, it is slow. If you talk about some of the standard reports, or maybe you talk about the customized reports that you create, normally the customer always complain that the reports are coming slow. Although the reports are okay, the integration is, everything is fine, but still the reportings are something which is not being generated on time. So that was one of the area where SAP was focusing, like how to improvise the reports. And then they finalized, or then they analyzed and found that this is because the traditional databases that we were supporting. So in ECC, normally if you are on EHP 6 or lesser than that, normally we use the databases from the third parties, like we use Oracle, we use Microsoft, okay? So application is SAP, while in the database we have all this kind of different third-party vendors. So now when SAP thought of improvising the speed, they realized that database is a problem. They spoke to the database vendors, they spoke to all the vendors who were providing this database service, but they were not happy with the response that they got. So when they talked to them, how can we improvise the speed using the same database? The answers which were provided by all these different kind of vendors, they were not very satisfactory. And then they realized that why don't we come up with our own database with all these benefits? And that is exactly what they have done, and they came up with SAP Hana. Right, so before coming to SAP S4HANA, SAP came up with SAP HANA in year 2012. Okay, in 2011 or 12, SAP came up with the HANA database, and starting from there, if you go for SAP HANA migration, like if you convert your existing database from Oracle or Microsoft to SAP HANA, you will definitely find the speed in terms of the reports. Definitely there will be, the speeds will be faster compared to what you were getting earlier. So with SAP S4HANA, by default, as we said, SAP HANA is a database, so it is obviously going to provide you the speed, which is one of the very important benefit of going for SAP S4HANA. Okay, not only the speed, now when we said we are just replacing the database, but what exactly SAP HANA is providing? Why SAP HANA is faster? That all things we'll understand in our first session. In our first session, we'll concentrate on what are the benefits of SAP HANA over the traditional databases, right? Coming to the second point, which is high cost of operations. Operations means what? Doing day-to-day activities. So today, if you have a team of consultants, or if you have a team of end users who are doing the transactions on day-to-day basis, whenever they are doing the transactions, they are spending some amount of time. So let's say, for example, today you are giving, you are taking 4 hours to punch 200 invoices. Okay, let's say 8 hours for 400 invoices. And on daily basis, you are getting around 2000 invoices. So you need 5 dedicated resources to enter that data into the system. Now, why exactly this much amount of time is occupied? The reason is the way in which we create the transactions as of today, that is a very old methodology. We are using very old screens of SAP which were delivered in 80s. Right, so if I talk example, let's say creation of invoices is Miro. So today if you are using the transaction MIRO, let's say it is taking 2 minutes to process one invoice, just for example. So SAP thought of how can we improvise that? How can we make sure that today if we are taking 2 minutes to process an invoice, how can that can be bring to, let's say, 30 seconds, which will save your cost in terms of operations. And that is exactly what SAP has done, and they came up with a completely new user interface, that is SAP Fiori. So SAP Fiori is giving you the screens which are simpler to use, which will save your time in terms of performing the operations. So from reporting point of view, you are getting HANA, which is giving you faster reports. From transactions point of view, SAP is providing you SAP Fiori, which will reduce your time in terms of processing the transactions. Not only that, if you come to the third point, high cost of infrastructure. So today, let's say if a customer, let's say you are a customer and you decided to implement SAP. The first thing that you need to do before implementing SAP is making sure your infrastructure is ready. You will be requiring different kind of hardwares, okay, which will be the servers on which you are going to implement SAP, the networking devices. Not only that, you also need a team who is going to take care of the servers, networking devices and all those things. So what you are doing, you are incurring one-time cost, one-time huge cost in order to set up your SAP system. Okay, and due to which our competitors are in advantage. Why? Because there are some competitors who are providing the cloud offerings. Cloud offering means you don't need to pay for hardware, you don't need to hire your team. There is a third party which will provide you the hardware, they have their teams with them, and you just need to pay the subscription fees to use that particular software. So this is where SAP was lagging in terms of if you go 2 to 3 years back. But now with SAP S/4HANA, SAP is offering two solutions. That is, if you want to go for on-premise, you can go, or if you want to run the system on cloud, you have that option also, which means you don't need to incur one-time cost and you can go on cloud where the third party, maybe SAP, maybe some other third party, will be providing you the server access and they will be just charging you the subscription fees that is based on the quarterly or maybe yearly basis based on the licenses that you are going to purchase from them. Alright, so it will definitely save your one-time cost, and the competitors which were offering these solutions, now we can compete with them. Okay, so these are the basic three reasons why SAP S/4HANA is powerful compared to the traditional ECC system. Okay, now let me talk about what exactly this course is all about. Okay, what exactly are we going to learn in this course, what is in the scope and what is out of the scope. Okay, so we are going to start off with SAP HANA overview, okay, in which we'll understand how SAP HANA is better than the traditional databases that we were using till now. Okay, we'll talk about what is in-memory computing, we'll talk about what is column-based data storage, we'll talk about what is simplified data model, we'll talk about how HANA calculation engine is faster compared to the traditional databases, which will help you in understanding why SAP HANA is faster. Okay, so this will be the overview session on why SAP HANA is faster to the traditional databases. We are not going to enter into the technical details of HANA because SAP HANA is a database, and as we know, SAP HANA is a skill which is normally for the technical guys. So we'll just understand from our point of view how HANA is better than the traditional databases, so that if you are in a project and if your customer asks you, okay, why do you think HANA is better? So you should not tell, oh, I am a functional guy. You can go and talk to the technical consultant. That should not be done. You should be able to answer him that what is in memory, what is column-based data storage, which are the reasons why SAP HANA is better compared to the traditional systems. Okay, then we'll go on to key enablers of SAP S/4HANA. What are the key parameters or the enablers which are making SAP S/4HANA a powerful product? So we already talked about 3 points, that is SAP HANA, SAP Fiori, and the cloud-based offerings. These are the 3 areas which are differentiating ECC from SAP S/4HANA, right? At the same time, simplified processes. With all these things in the background, ultimately we are also achieving the simplified processes. What are simplified processes now? That we'll talk about in the subsequent topics that we are going to discuss. Okay, and then a very important topic, that is overview of SAP Activate methodology. So till now, we follow SAP methodology in almost all the projects that we do on SAP. Okay, where we go with that 5 traditional phases, starting with the preparation, then business blueprint, realization and all. So that is no more relevant now. When you go for SAP S/4HANA projects, the methodology has been changed. Okay, what exactly has been changed, where to get the content from, where to find the documentations, all that things we'll discuss in the 2 sessions that we'll be having on SAP Activate methodology. Once we are done with the theoretical thing, we understood how HANA is better, what are the key enablers of SAP S/4HANA, how to go about the implementation and system conversion projects using Activate methodology. Then we will come to our practical topics. So we will have the first look on SAP S/4HANA system, including overview to SAP Fiori also. So I'll show you how SAP Fiori looks like, what are the different kind of apps, like what are the transactional apps, what are the analytical apps, and what are the fact sheets, okay, and how you can delete a particular app from your launchpad, or how you can add a particular app on your launchpad. So basic introduction to SAP Fiori we'll see in the SAP Fiori session, along with the first look at SAP S/4HANA system, how exactly the new system look like, how it is different than the traditional ECC system, okay, how to check a version of which SAP S/4HANA system we are using. All that things we'll see in the first look session. And then we'll start everything from scratch. So I'm not going to show you the pre-configured scenarios. We are going to configure the Delta things directly in the system. So we already have 1610 system available with us, okay, which is the latest version of SAP S/4HANA. So we'll start off with the configuration of enterprise structure, where we'll be configuring company code, purchase org, sales org, whatever is required in order to set up our enterprise. Okay, and then we'll start off with the changes in the master data. So there are some changes in the way the material master is used to be, like for example, the field length extension. Earlier it was only supporting 18 characters. Now it supports 40 characters. Then there are some changes in the foreign trade functionality, due to which there will be changes in material master. There are some changes in the MRP functionality. Okay, so what is the impact on the material master? That we'll discuss in the changes in material master section. Then we'll talk about the changes in the business partner approach, which means the way in which you create the customers and vendors today using transaction XK01, XT01. These are obsolete now. You will not be able to create customers and vendors using the traditional approach. It needs to be created via the business partner approach. You need to create a business partner for each and every customer and vendor, which is mandatory now. So obviously, if you want to create a business partner, which we never created earlier, or maybe only I think 10% of the customers we are doing that. So for 90% of the customers, how are you going to configure that? Because you cannot directly create a business partner. You need the configuration in place. You need to make sure that all the configuration elements are in place. Then only you can go and create a business partner using the customer or vendor as a reference, right? So that is again something which we are going to discuss in the master data changes section. So master data itself will take around 2 to 3 sessions, at least 2 sessions for customer and vendor, and 1 session will be required for material master. Then we'll start off with module by module. So as I told you, we have 3 modules in scope. Okay, these are the only 3 modules that we have in scope: MM, SD, and PP. Talking from the MM point of view, we'll talk about the material ledger. We'll talk about the simplified pricing. Okay, these are some of the new functionalities. New means they are different than what was available in ECC. The data modeling, which means how the data is going to be stored in the tables, which tables are removed, which tables are added. Output determination. So earlier, the way in which we were determining the purchase order output, that is using transaction names, that is something which has been now not available. Even if it is available, it is not supported, and now we have a new output determination in place, which is using BRF plus. So what exactly is that? How it is different than the NACE? What is like how you need to maintain that configuration now? That we'll see in the output determination section. And then I will show you some of the Fiori apps practically, like how to create a purchase requisition using Fiori, how to convert the purchase requisition into the purchase order, how to do the gate receipt for the purchase order. So some of the apps I'll show you, which will give you the clear idea of how exactly SAP Fiori screens looks like and how to perform the transactions and reports using SAP Fiori apps. Okay, and there will be some theoretical topics like foreign trade management, what has been changed in foreign trade management, what has been changed in SRM functionalities. Why we are having this as theoretical? There is an obvious reason, because today the foreign trade functionality is available within ECC. Okay, now this foreign trade functionality has been completely removed. Okay, it is no more available in SAP S/4HANA system. If you want to use that functionality, you have to implement GTS, which is the external service. Right, so since it is an external service, since GTS is already the module which is working from years, there is no need to explain that. Okay, so that is the reason that has been considered as a theoretical session. SRM, again, SRM already is a separate functionality. It is already external interface which you connect to ECC, but there are some changes expected in future. So we'll talk about the SRM functionalities, how they are impacted, and what is expected in future also. Then we'll come to SD. In SD, we'll talk about the data model again, which is the table levels changes, simplified pricing. Again, there is a change in the billing output determination. Credit management has been changed completely. Okay, the traditional credit management that we were using is no more available. So if you are using transaction FD32 to maintain the credit master data of the customer, that is no more available. As the rebate processing, there is some change in the rebate processing also. It has been replaced with the settlement management. So the way in which you were doing the rebate processing and all, that is completely changed. That is not available at all. So how to handle that kind of things, that we'll see in the rebate processing session. Then again, there will be some theoretical sessions like revenue recognition, foreign trade and CRM you already understood from MM. Revenue recognition is again something which was available within ST till now, which has been now completely removed, and there is a new add-on which is provided by SAP called as SAP RAR, SAP Revenue Accounting and Reporting. So that we will discuss, like how revenue account recognition has been impacted and what are the available solutions. Then we'll proceed towards the PP, where we'll be discussing about the MRP Live, which is a completely new thing which is only available on HANA database. Okay, so what exactly is MRP Live, how it is different than the classical MRP, and how it is going to make life easy for the MRP controllers. Okay, so there will be around 2 sessions on MRP Live. And then once we complete the delta part from MM, ST and PP, we'll proceed towards the second kind of project, which is the system conversion. So whatever we have seen from this particular point till here, MRP Live, these were all related to like a new implementation. So you are configuring everything from scratch. But what if the customer is already running ECC and he want to upgrade to SAP S/4? So that is a second kind of project, which is called a system conversion. So in case of conversion, what are the different activities that you need to perform? What are the different tools you will be using? Okay, all that things we'll be understanding in these sessions. Understanding the conversion process and understanding the tools which are provided by SAP. Also, since the customers and vendors are not going to be created as they were created in ECC, you need to convert all your customers and vendors into the business partners. So if you are using ECC, whatever thousands or whatever number of customers you have to convert them into business partners. Then only you can migrate to SAP S/4HANA. So how to do that? That is also something we'll see practically. We'll understand the conversion cockpit, okay, which is again one of the tool which is provided by SAP, which will help you to perform the complete conversion from ECC to SAP S4. I'll give you 1 or 2 examples, like what will happen to my custom objects. If I have created some Z reports, what will happen if I upgrade to SAP S/4HANA? What will happen to my standard things or standard functionalities? So all that things we'll discuss during the conversion sessions. And finally, once we complete with all the conversion things, we'll be talking about the overview of SAP Simple Finance. Because whenever you will go into the project, it is not only the logistics that you are going to implement. Okay, so for example, today also when you go for the implementation, you are aware of some integration topics, like how the accounting determination takes place from MM, how it is done from SD. So is there any change in that point of view, or is there any change in the table level point of view? So we are going to concentrate only on the things which are important to us from the integration point of view. So there will be one session on the overview of SAP Simple Finance. So this is what exactly we are going to talk about in this course, and this is going to be around 30 hours. It will take around 30 hours to complete all these things. Timings and all you can check with the Sana or Krishna, whoever you are coordinating with. Okay, apart from that, fees and all that you can directly discuss with the coordinators. Apart from that, if you have any question related to the course content, whether it is in the scope or not, we will mute you one by one. Okay, just raise your hand or just write your question on the chat screen. Okay, we'll be answering that question in starting now. So this is what I have for my presentation, but if you have any questions now, just raise your hand or write on the chat screen. Okay, there are some hands which are raised. So Ashutosh, I just unmuted you. Please go ahead with your question. Yes, Ashutosh, you can go ahead. I unmuted you. Ashutosh, we are able to hear you. You can speak out. I think you are writing, but you can speak out. Okay, no issues. So Ashutosh is not able to speak, but let me see what is his question. He has written on the chat screen. Yes, first question from Ashutosh is the documentations. What kind of documentations will be shared? So he's asking whether the documentation is related to 1511 or 1610. It will be both. You will be getting the documentations for 1511 as well as 1610. Okay, second question is Solution Manager also installed in training landscape? If yes, then what is the software version? This I really need to check out. Solution Manager, you can check out with Krishna or Sana whether that is installed or not. And the third question again from Ashutosh is what is still the gap in SAP S4HANA MM which is available in ECC? See, there is no gap. Whatever functionalities you are getting in MM, okay, either they are changed or they are available as it is. So for example, if you were having 10 functionalities in ECC, all the 10 functionalities are also available in SAP S4. Out of that, it may happen that 5 functionalities are simplified, while 5 will remain same. So it is not like a functionality that I was getting in MM which is not available in SAP S4. That is not at all. So there is no gap from that point of view. Okay, let me just mute another guys. Brad, I don't know your full name. Can you just go ahead with your question?
Yeah, I have actually question is that what is the landscape you are going to show that? Is it like a standalone premises version or just integrated with other systems like APO and SCM systems, or
No, it will be yes. See, the system that we are using is 1610 on-premise version. Okay. Now integrations are available or not, I am not sure, but anyways, irrespective of whether the interfaces are there or not, we are not going to concentrate on that. APO is something, APO, IBP, all these things are not part of the scope of this training. We are only going to focus on MM, SD and PP.
Okay, in SD point of view, like example, you said like pricing, and you are going to say you are going to demo the pricing and output. So is it like, are you going to show that how it's getting configured, or is it how we are going to convert like existing pricing structures to the new model or output
Both
also?
the
Are you
things.
going to show that? So is it like
Yes,
you're going to explain that like a documentation point of view, or is it like you're going to show the examples
in the system.
in the
See.
system? Okay.
Yeah, see the structure. So what we are going to do, let's say for example, simplified pricing. So we are starting with the new implementation kind of thing because we are configuring everything from scratch. So I'll show you how to configure the pricing and how to configure the output determination. Okay, and finally, when we will be in the conversion, okay, at that point of time, I'll be only talking about the topics that we are not discussed here. right? So for example, output determination, if you already know how it is configured in the new implementation, obviously in the conversion also you need to follow the same approach. If there is a change, definitely we are going to talk about. For example, the business partner approach, in case of new implementation, there is a difference in conversion, right? Because conversion is something which you want to convert your existing customers and vendors. So this we are going to discuss in both the forms, how the new customer will be created and how the new customer will be converted. So both the things, implementation as well as system conversion, these two scenarios we are going to discuss in detail.
Right. Okay. Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, brother. Yes, please go ahead with your question. Yes.
Yeah, hi. Are you guys providing any system for practice for doing the practice?
Yes, you will be
Hello?
provided with 1610. Yes, are you able to hear
Okay.
me?
Yes.
Yes, you will be provided with 1610, which is the latest version of SAP S4 HANA.
Okay.
Yes,
And
that
it
is
would be
available
on
with them.
or on cloud?
On premise. It is on premise.
Okay. Yeah, thanks.
Okay, thank you. Amit, please go ahead. Amit, you muted yourself. You just need to unmute yourself.
Hey, hi,
Yes,
Gaurav. This
go
is
ahead.
Amit. I have a
Yeah.
question. So this course is for four kind of people who knows SD, who knows MM, who knows PP, and who knows a little bit of SAP overall, SAP ECC,
Mm-hmm.
right? So the
Mm-hmm.
people who doesn't know about, I'm from a background of SD a little bit, and I don't know PP as well as I don't know MM. So if you gonna
Mm-hmm.
teach us from the scratch, like, build an enterprise structure, do all those things as far as SAP is concerned, basic functions, and create a distribution channel and all those things areas, then are you gonna teach us MM as well as PP part as well in detail?
No, see,
Or just
not
tell
in
us,
detail.
or
I'll tell you.
yeah.
Yes, I got your point, Amit. See, for example, in SD, I just highlighted these things: pricing, output determination, credit management, SD rebate processing. But you must be aware that there are a lot of other areas also in SD, right?
Yes.
But
Yeah.
we are only going to talk about the delta. Now, let's say, for example, if a person is coming from MM, okay, and he is not aware of how these things happens in ECC, okay.
Okay.
So definitely we'll talk about how these things happen in ECC first, and then only we'll go in how exactly this will be changed in SAP S4. So even if you are coming from the background of non-ST or non-MM or non-PP, in that case, we are going to talk about how these things were happening in ECC, and then only we'll touch upon how these things happens in SAP S4. So what I'm expecting in this course is the person who is at least expert or experienced in any of one area. I'm not expecting everybody to be expert in SD, MM and PP. That is not possible at all, right? So you
Yeah.
must be at least experienced in any one area. This is not the course for freshers at all, one thing. And second thing, why I'm saying that, see, even if the fresher comes here, he's not going to get the good amount of what we can say, the advantage outside, because if you go outside and search for the job, and if you say I know what has been changed in SAP S4, nobody is going to give you
Yeah.
a job, because it is
Correct.
already, you must be expert in one area. Let's say I'm MM plus I am aware of SAP S4 HANA, then that is a definite advantage. So that is the reason this is the course for the person who is experienced in any one area. I'm not expecting in all the areas at all.
Yeah, but the thing is, even if you are expert in one area, you don't work all together. Like, you work on, if you are from SD background, you might have worked on batch management, right? Or maybe the sales orders or deliveries or billing. But there are some like,
Exactly, Amit. Yes, exactly. That is the reason I told you. Whatever topics are highlighted here, even if you don't know as of today,
uh-huh.
okay, you will be getting the comparison, how it was handled in ECC vis-a-vis how it will be handled in SAP S4. So even if you are not knowing earlier, you will get the idea. It is not like I'll be directly starting, okay, this is how it happens in SAP S4. Because before coming to that, we need to understand what has been changed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Chagan, I just unmuted you. You need to unmute yourself. You are muted by yourself. You need to unmute yourself first.
Hi
Yes.
Gaurav, this is Jagan here.
Yeah.
Hello. Gaurav, just I want to confirm that you are going to teach only Delta part, right?
Yes. It is Delta because it is not possible to cover each and everything in 30 hours. So one module itself takes more than 35 to 40 hours, right? So, and that is something which is not for you because I'm expecting all the experienced consultants here, not the freshers. So it will be only the Delta.
Okay. And what are the major changes between 1511 and 1610 in terms of logistics perspective?
There are, see, if I talk about the core modules point of view, let's say MM, PP and SD, there are not much of changes because whatever changes are coming, they are coming from, let's say, EWM, IBP.
Okay.
So see, it is flow is like this. So first of all, SAP came up with 1503 in which they only simplified the financials. Okay.
Okay.
After that, they simplified the 4 modules like MM, SD and PP, which were simplified in 1511. Now in 1610, they added some of the industry specific solutions, very basic functionalities of EWM are also merged in 1610, and going forward in 1710, there will be the improvements in the terms of CRM, SRM on all these functionalities. So if I talk from the core modules point of view, which is the scope of our course, you'll not find much of difference. But definitely in some of the things like output determination, there is a definite change. Rebate processing, again, there is small change. So there is a change, but not much.
Okay. So in terms of in the market and when I heard that SAP is going to stop the support for ECC by 2025. It is true or it is still continuing?
They announced this when they launched SAP Simple Finance. So Simple Finance was launched in 2015 and they announced that we are going to support the ECC for next 10 years.
Okay. So it means that every customer has to migrate.
Yes, they are expecting that. So maybe it can go further also, but this is something which they announced in 2015 when they launched SAP Simple Finance.
Okay. So and are you going to show this cloud also? This one cloud is what you call on-premise as well as cloud. How is the approach? What are the prerequisite for cloud? Or only the on-premise version only?
That is, yeah, I'll tell you one thing. See, irrespective of whether you go on premise or you go on cloud, the functionalities are not going to be impacted from the functional point of view, right? It is only the server whether you are keeping on your own premise or you are taking the server as a third party on the subscription basis. That is the only difference.
So okay, in, actually on-premise I have idea, but cloud I don't have idea. But cloud means you have to just log in the remote desktop kind of. I have any idea how it will be?
I'll give you that overview. When we are discussing SAP S4HANA key pillars, at that point, I'll give you the overview of the difference. You'll get the complete idea like how on-premise is different than on-cloud. But whatever activities you'll be doing, we'll be doing on on-premise.
Yeah, functionality wise okay, but I'm saying the overall architecture wise I want to.
Yes, architecture we'll discuss cloud versus on-premise in our third session.
Okay, fine. Okay, thank you, Gaurav. Thank you for.
Okay. Yes, Preetham, again you need to unmute yourself. You are muted by self. Yes, Preetham.
Yeah.
Yes, hi, Preetham.
Hi. So it's fine, quite nice means your explanation and everything. So this three system what we will learn. One is our on-premise, and the second one is Hana, and third one is Fiori. So this training server what you will be providing, is it a sync of these three or not like that? Means can we run some transaction and we can see how these data are flowing, and we can do some means demo or something on our own. We can create some transaction and we can see the flow, if we create a something in Fiori, and we can come to Hana, we can see whether yes, this database means it is stored in the table and all this. Is it possible?
Let me give you the overview, which is I am supposed to give you in this first look of SAP S/4HANA system, but I'll just give you the hint what exactly this is all about. See, HANA is the database. Okay, so today
Right.
either you are using Oracle or SQL Server. Whenever you do some transaction, the data gets posted in that particular tables of Oracle. Okay.
Right.
Now instead of Oracle, the data will be stored in HANA tables. Okay. So obviously, whenever we'll do the transaction, there are some tables which are changed compared to what tables we were using earlier. So definitely, whatever has been changed, whenever we'll do the transaction, we'll go into the background, we'll run SE11 or SE16N or SE16H transaction to see what has been updated in the table. Right? This is how the front end is connected to the database of HANA. Now, third thing that you told, Fiori. Fiori is just a new user interface. Okay, it is just a new user interface. Like if I am using transaction ME21N today and it is asking me for 100 fields, now SAP has simplified that screens and kept only 20 fields, while the remaining 80 fields, they will be automatically picked, or maybe that is not of much importance. So it will be easier for user to perform that transaction, but ultimately it is again going to the same table which we seen in case of ME20.
Can I interrupt once? Okay,
Yes.
sorry. So in our normal SAP, as per client requirement, sometimes we enhance some field, maybe for creating a purchase order, creating a sales order, or for master data. And if we are talking about this now, this Fiori and all, so how we can accommodate that new field into the Fiori? Are you giving all this explanation how we can also configure that enhanced field, data field to the Fiori? Z field.
No. That is something which is not in scope. So that is something which Fiori person will be able to tell you, because Fiori is a technical part. Okay, it is screen designing the screen. So even today also, if you are working as a MM or SD consultant, normally you just give the requirement to your web person, and he adds some new fields into that, and he creates the connection with the database.
That is not in our scope, so that's fine. Okay,
Yes,
fine.
yes.
Okay. Because you know, I have some idea about C4C, and in C4C, functional consultant need to do all this. So that is why I am asking all this. Okay, fine.
No.
Coming to my second question.
Yep.
Okay, fine. So coming to my second question, this what is your explanation about the delta part and all this that you will be touching? I am SD consultant, certified SD consultant, and definitely I have very less idea about MM and PP. So I'll be happy with your explanation that I need to focus one single area, but for other area, can you provide some document where we can go deep dive and we can enhance our knowledge, some configuration and all this knowledge? So if you provide some documentation about,
Yes, we can provide the documentations, but at the same time, as I told you, whenever I'm talking about a new thing, let's say you are from SD and you don't know how the output was determined for purchase order, let's say, or how the material ledger functionality was there. So I am going to provide you the complete overview of that. Okay, so I'm considering that you are completely fresh into this topic, so you don't need to worry. Okay, but at the same time, if you need the documentations can be provided. That is not a big deal.
Okay. And last question regarding certification. I know certification has not yet been launched, but if you have any idea, what is the certification material? It is S4H01, kind of.
There are a lot of trainings. S4H01 is the basics of SAP S4HANA, which we are going to cover here in this.
Okay. S4L1.
I'm coming to it. S4H01. First one is S4H01, which is for the overview of SAP S4HANA. Then you have S4PR1, which is procurement related change. Then you have S4MA1, which is for manufacturing related changes, data changes. And then you have S4, I think SD01 or something, which is for the sales related. Yes. So all these things, whatever is mentioned in the simplification list, okay, these are the topics which I already highlighted. So this we are going to talk about in detail.
Okay. And as you mentioned that during interview, definitely we need to show some our experience in this particular domain. So it will be great help if you can provide some realistic means kind of means what I say blueprint of that kind of scenario where we can create some means post this course present means for our own interview preparation. So if you can help that way, it will be really a good help.
Sure. Whatever I'm going to discuss, I'm going to share the past scenarios which I have worked throughout my career. So that is not a reason to worry. Okay, Vinay, please go ahead with your question. You have muted yourself. Yes. Yes, Vinay, go ahead. Hello.
Can you able to hear me?
Yes, Vinay. Yes, Vinay, we can hear you. Vinay, there seems to be some problem with your mic. Can you just type your question otherwise? Yeah, Anil, please go ahead with your question.
Yeah. Thank you so much for a wonderful session. So most of my questions was asked by the team. Thanks for that. So few basic questions to my head because I'm sure that I'm the very less experienced compared to other team members. But what I wanted to understand here is the majorly the HANA is providing three advantages. One is the speed of from the database. The second is this thing like a database cloud part or on-premises part, and third thing is like support of from SAP for only for next 10 years. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did I miss anything?
Yes, so if you are talking about 3 points, I think first one is that you are getting the power of HANA, which is giving you speed. Second is SAP Fiori, which is giving you better user interface. And third is you are getting the option of cloud, which means you can perform your transaction without incurring one-time cost.
Correct. So coming back to the point number one, the speed. So if I was a customer, let's say I'm from HP and I was a customer and I've so far I've implemented SAP and I'm on ENHP 7 or 8. So how does that speed is really matter for me to on specific to the speed I should upgrade my system? So does that make sense that we should think of on specific to the speed itself we have to go on the and if we also measure, how do we measure and how do we give a you can say the response time, hey, when you executed MD04 previously it was only 30 seconds and now you use this HANA and you will get it in 2 seconds. So is there a way that we can provide the reports to the customers or like our customers saying that before HANA and after HANA? Before HANA this transaction, now after HANA transaction. Is there a way that HANA can provide such, pull out such reports?
No, see, that you obviously can't give the report at the time you are not trying on the system, right? Because you will always get the experience from the previous implementations that SAP has done. So for example, if you go with the experience of SAP, they will say, okay, earlier this customer was having this much of data and it was taking this much amount of time, but now it will take this much. But obviously it totally depends upon which customer you are implementing. Okay, and without doing the implementation, without trying the same thing in the customer premises, you cannot commit that this will be done at this much time. Okay, so that is obviously that you need to do separately for each and every customer.
So possibility of having a HANA in the majority of customers could be differ based on the advantage one.
Yes, obviously. See, it is not only HANA. Again, let me just clarify this. See, HANA is just providing the speed, and if you are only looking for the speed, there is no need of going for SAP S/4HANA, because you can obviously upgrade your database to SAP HANA if you are only looking from the speed point of view.
Yeah, it could be a infrastructure. If I can upgrade my infrastructure to the little more, bigger RAM and archive my database for a couple of years back, then could speed also can be managed with my existing. So that's my first point. Yeah. So and the second point which I wanted to, I'm sorry if I could ask you a couple of stupid questions, which is relevant also. But these things which I have
Sure,
as
sure. Go ahead.
yeah, being another
Go
side,
ahead.
if I were a customer, then should I need to implement it or not? So the second question about the Fiori. So Fiori just my front end. So I can use any of the front end where I can implement with having a very good like click view also, like anything, any of the third party application where I can use it for my existing database having a upgraded infrastructure, then I can build up the the best graphical images, and I can pull it out in my phone also using SFDC or anything, right? So what exactly the Fieries gives an advantages compared to the any other third party application which doesn't give?
See, the best thing is that you are getting the application which is on the same platform. That is one of the biggest benefit. Today, if you go with ClickView or maybe whatever other tools are available, so you are using the third party tools and that is the interfacing kind of thing, right? You are interfacing that. But now that is the main reason why, because see, if you are considering only from Fiori point of view, there are a lot of things others to be considered like Ariba, Hybris. So today you are using these things like Ariba, Hybris and all, which are connected via the uh, you
RFCs.
need the plugins to, yeah, you need to plugins to connect these things. But now in SAP S/4HANA, what they are providing is they are providing the native integration, which means they are already connected. You just need to plug and play. Right. So even from Fiori point of view, what we are trying to do in SAP S/4HANA is today SAP knows that there are a lot of different third-party vendors who are providing add-on services, but they are always from the third parties. Now SAP is trying to come up with a complete end-to-end solutioning, right? So you don't need to go for the third-party vendors. Everything will be provided by SAP itself. And definitely, again, let me tell you, for the small customers, it will not make much sense. But
That's
definitely for the big customers who are maintaining all these interfaces, it is not very easy to maintain that. And they will be
yeah.
really delighted to go with one solution which is giving you the complete end-to-end functionality.
Okay. So what if this is the case, if I have my own customer, because I'm working with one of the organization that has almost 800 or 600 different third-party applications which are integrated. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the orders are coming from EDI, orders are coming from Amazon, orders are coming from any third-party applications. Like I have from the upstream, I have 100 odd third-party applications, and in the midstream, to process those orders, to process those purchase orders, to process those GIs, and to do the allocation, to do the BOP, I have 100 odd third-party applications in mid. And in the downstream, I have 200 or 300 more applications. Like for expenses, I have one thing. For payrolls, I have one thing. And for account payables, I have one thing. For account receivables, I have one thing. And for vendor payments, I have one thing. And account balancing, I have one thing. For for contacting with my bankers, I have another third-party applications. Like this, I have for you can take that from the three different tiers, like upstream, midstream, and downstream. I have these many third-party applications. How does this go with the HANA?
Yes. See, again, as you told, you have all these third-party interfaces. But now,
Yes.
if you look at SAP S/4HANA, this one, the platform, you will see SAP has provided the tools for upstream. They have provided the tools for downstream. Like, for example, I can give you whatever examples you gave. So, for example, today, if you are getting the orders from different kind of applications, like you are getting from Amazon and other sites, so
Yeah.
SAP has now provided you Hybris, okay, which can be useful in this form. So you can connect various different upstream systems to get the data into SAP. Okay, and within SAP again, there are a lot of simplifications which are done, due to which you may don't need this midstream or downstream kind of applications now, because many things can be done directly in the system now. Okay, and from the downstream point of view, as you told, the AP processing and AR processing. So SAP is also providing you, let's say you said about travel, you said about payroll. So for payroll, SAP is providing you success factor. For travel related things, SAP is providing you Concur. So what exactly is this field glass, Concur? This is all these solutions which are provided by SAP, so that you should not go for the external third-party tools. So now, if you are looking at that point of view, let's say for example, if you are a completely new customer, you will be really delighted that you don't need to go to the third parties at all. You are getting everything consolidated, real-time integrated with each other. All right. And if you are going from the migration point of view, if you are already using ECC, then definitely this is a big project for you, because you need to discard, you need to take a decision what you want to discard and what you want to retain. Okay, and what functionalities you are going to, yeah. It is a big decision. It depends on a lot of different factors.
That's where I'm coming from, because you know, SAP is already installed, and most of the customers who are in tier 1, like the Fortune 500 companies, are already using SAP, and they have this, according to their business, they have customized a lot of applications, and they put their applications on top and mid and down, and they try to mix it. So as you said about the Concur, or as you said about any third-party application, the meaning, what I'm saying is, like, I cannot give access to my HANA systems or my Fury options of, you know, front ends to my third-party vendors or third-party applications, but I can give an access to the Concur or my third-party application. Yes. So yeah, that limitation I do have as part of a customer perspective. So if I wanted to achieve that, you know, installing this HANA, because I see this is a limitation, because when I actually go for, you know, HANA, and then the, you know, simple logistics or finance, S4 wants to implement on the 15111 or 1516, whichever.
Sorry, we are not able to hear you, Anil. Something wrong. Okay. Are you able to hear me? All others, just ping on the chat screen. Okay. Let me unmute. I think all the questions are answered. In the chat screen, let me see if anybody has the question. Yes, Saibal, you can go ahead with your question. Do you want me to unmute, or you want me to, you have the question on the chat? Okay, just give me a minute. Yes, Saibal, I just unmuted you. Please go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Hello.
Can
Yes,
you hear
Saibal,
me?
go ahead.
Can you hear
Yes.
me? See, actually,
yes,
I think this particular course, you know, is for HANA Simple Logistics, is meant for the practicing SAP SD professionals, if I'm not wrong. Am I correct?
Practicing, okay, practicing means you are already in the field, right? Not only SD.
Those who are already in the field, but not for the freshers. Am I correct?
No, not for, yes, you are correct.
Okay. So actually, you know, I don't know. I mean, I was primarily interested in SD. So one of my friends has told me that no, SD is not the in thing. Rather, SD is actually going to be obsolete very soon, because very soon, you know, SAP is going to launch. I mean, they have already launched this thing, you know, S4 HANA Simple Logistics. So
okay, I got your point, Saibal. I now know where you come from. Okay, so it is not like that. Let me tell you the basic functionality. See, if you are currently, have you done any course, or you are a completely fresher?
No, see, I'm not a fresher, but I come from a different field altogether.
No. I'm talking from SAP point of view. Maybe you have 10 years of experience, but from
So
SAP
as
point
far
of
as
view.
SAP is concerned, as far as SAP is concerned, I don't have any experience. I'll have to start from scratch. Okay.
Okay.
Now
okay.
my field of specialization is basically a little bit of logistics and a little bit of CRM. Okay.
Okay, Saibal, let me answer. I got your point. See, it is the SD has not like what you said. Your friend has told you that SD is going to be obsolete. That is not the case at all. SD is a very good functionality which is available in SAP from years, and it supports lot of processes, lot of integrations. So it is not going to be obsolete like this. Only thing is there are some simplifications which will come in the normal processes of SD. Okay, now the simplifications will only make sense if you know the functionalities of SD. So if you directly come onto this course, it will not make any sense. If you are looking for SAP S/4HANA Logistics also, it is recommended that you go for SD first. You understand what is the normal SD, and then you come out to this course so that you understand, you already know SD and you want to understand what has been changed compared to the traditional SAP SD. Okay, that is the only thing. So you cannot directly attain this training. I am not saying you'll not be able to understand. You'll completely understand. Whenever I'm discussing, I'll make sure that each and everybody is understanding whatever we are discussing. But only thing is, you will not get much scope in the market, because if you tell them that I only know what has been changed in SAP S/4HANA, if you don't have the background at all, it is very difficult to land up in the market. So it is always better to go with the core module first and then come to this training.
Okay.
Right,
So,
Seven?
but learning of the core module itself will take me 2 to 3 years or even 5 to 6 years, right?
No. Learning is only 2 months. Experience is something which matters. So if you are a fresher, if you are good at SD, if you get the training in 2 months, and after 2 months if you try searching for jobs, you can easily get in SD. That is not a problem.
Okay. Anyway, so
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead, Seven.
I'll go as per your advice then. So shall I drop out now?
Oh. Yes,
Shall I
anyways
drop
we
out?
are closing, because yes, anyways we are closing. I think we are almost done. Let me see if I have further questions on the chat screen. Ashutosh is asking, is there a separate certification provided by SAP Activate Methodology? There is a separate course which is provided by SAP for Activate Methodology, and that is basically for the person who are experienced into solution manager, because Activate Methodology will give you the tools and all that you normally you need from the solution manager point of view. But certification, I don't think it is still available in Activate also. It is a training which is available as of today. Okay, I think we are done with all the questions. Can we close, Krishna? Sana, are you there? Okay, guys, so let's close. You can contact coordinators to check when exactly we are starting. I think we are starting from this Saturday, but please take the confirmation from the Sana or Krishna. Thank you all. Bye.